people that have got DNA that goes back to Neanderthal, Anunnaki, and other earlier civilizations of Earth, which potentially would be protective against. Because there's a big model that says that aliens are actually just people that were, or a body, an individual, that were on Earth many, many, many millions and millions of years ago, and that therefore we know, for example, the British, the Anglo-Saxon blood is very Neanderthalic. It carries DNA going right the way back. So there may be a possibility that a defense mechanism against the former civilizations coming back, if they had any anger towards us, would be to find the DNA pattern that we have in our own civilizations currently on Earth that would protect us against ancient civilizations or things that we now call aliens.
Well, that's one approach as far as the DNA is looking into the past, deep into the ancient past. But another one is looking more into the more recent past. So if you look at the World Economic Forum, they say we need to bring our world population down to where it was about 200 years ago. If you look at the numbers, that's 500 million people. So in the 200-year span, we've gone from 500 million to almost 8 billion. That's a huge leap. And if what you're proposing is human beings being the alien, certain types of human beings with certain types of DNA being the alien, I would propose that perhaps the invasion has already happened. And
well, yes,
we don't even know
the invasion is from us. It's from Earth's earliest civilizations.
Are you tracking what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My bad. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I agree with what you're saying. So the depopulation can be argued and can be put out as a story as the need to get economic sanity. And in order to economically and financially make countries more profitable and to reduce the dependencies on states and economies, we wipe out those that are needy in the population, the old and those with underlying illnesses. Now that makes sense, and that is pretty much what has happened. So you can do that and then economically refine the country. But the most important thing is by absorbing getting rid of the additional costs, you then relieve costs to be spent on what is the missing money. Do you know about the missing billions? If you look at the defense budget of the United States, there are missing huge amounts over a long period of time. And what is being said is that money has been invested in contractors, hence why they're not DoD employees or divisions that can be looked at or refined, or they're not on record, they don't need to be disclosed. Everything's been done through contractors, but a huge amount of money has been spent on looking at the genetics of aliens, and particularly if we've already got organic matter from them, which we believe we have, then what is happening is an absorption of money, a reduction of the population here down to the bare minimum that's needed, and also down to those that have got genetic imprints that suggest they would be more hardy and be able to stand up against returning species from earlier civilizations, like a super race. Pretty much that's what it is. And that's the only way they would have been able to find out to do it.
Yo, honestly, this conversation is getting my heart rate way up. My heart rate is going way up right now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Johns Hopkins War Games Disease X killing 150 million people space. Please tap the link in the nest and RSVP for tonight's show and retweet it. There's going to be one epic space. It's titled RFK Jr. and DeSantis supporters, pandemic preparedness, and border crisis. This is where the RFK Jr. and DeSantis bases supporters want to collaborate on making a space to discuss these issues, as well as many others that I'll update later today in a post, so you can get a heads up on all the cool stuff we're going to be talking about. Right now, the conversation is very high level. I would say. A piece of this conversation I think that needs to be brought up is something that I was talking to Maze about the other night, which is the work of Dr. Christopher Kit Green and Dr. Gary Nolan. So a lot of this stuff is also related to what human beings are capable of that they don't realize that they're capable of, and the development of the human evolution. So a lot of this conversation gets stonewalled. We hit certain points in the conversation where we can't really say for certain, we can't really get too much farther in the conversation, because, and I'm not joking, this isn't a conspiracy theory, the information is classified. The information's classified. What we do know is that the brain chemistry of a subspecies of human being, or I hate to call it a subspecies, but it's, you know, another group of humans, let's call it, whose brains have, for lack of a better word, evolved. So the work that they're doing on it basically is all classified, the research. But what they found out, and what we do know for certain, this is public information, is that the basal ganglia, which is the motor function part of your brain, the inner brain, has been rewired to the outer brain, which is your executive, higher functioning parts of your brain. And this has to do with decision making as well as intuition. So the brains of some of these people are being rewired in ways that we've never seen before, increasing in IQ, EQ, and intuition levels, to where it's almost as if they have precognitive abilities. And that's something for us to continue to keep tabs on. They're letting this information out in dribs and drabs through Gary Nolan, but it's the work of Dr. Christopher Kit Green, who you're not going to get anything from. He's the real deal. He's not going to talk. I reached out to him. He doesn't want to talk. But yo, that's way off into the weeds. I'm trying to keep it on track. Money Penny Nick, do you want to pull up your notes on the
Disease X?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes, I have lots of notes. I didn't want to post it in the Purple Pill, but obviously I did a 2 or 3 hour space on it about a week ago, which is on my profile if you wanted to listen to the recording of it. But this obviously blew up because of, yes, you've guessed it, the media having seized on some sexy headlines that will make people suitably terrified when they've got all these little winter